So we're going to do, we don't know exactly how long this course will take, but we've booked for 3 weeks and we'll see what happens at the end of 3 weeks. But it's just an hour-long course while 8 o'clock. And I'm going to read from something I can put on the screen and share. So if God and Astrology can give me that ability, I think I can do it anyway now. Yeah.
Sure, Maharaj, you got the rights.
I've got the rights, have I?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've started with part 2, because part 1 is a long preamble, and it's a Vaishnava etiquette course that they did in Chowpatty. And so a lot of the things we'll see are actually very much relevant in India, and they may not, and we make a little adjustments in the West. But generally, Vaishnava etiquette's true for all time, place, and circumstance. So maybe details may be a little different. And I've also included excerpts from Bhakti Swami's Vaishnava etiquette book, which is very comprehensive. So you'll see in the blue writing, the page number in the Vaishnava etiquette book. The reason I didn't go through that book is because I only have a hardback copy, and it just means that I would have to do all the reading. So everybody else can have a chance to read if we have this screen share like this. Okay. So I'll just start off. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So yeah, the Vaishnava etiquette, it comes from Lord Chaitanya when he asked, Sanatana Goswami to, write a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas. And that's a very extensive book, particularly a lot of it is with, deity worship. Why? Because he said he's the emblem of Vaishnava etiquette. And because he's actually the emblem of Vaishnava etiquette, it can change the whole world. So the purpose of Vaishnava etiquette is to, we may not be natural devotees of the Lord, so they help us to assimilate what it is to be a devotee by changing our habits into, habits which are more susceptible to developing our devotional service. And he got that name by the emblem of Vaishnava etiquette because of his pastime where he avoided bumping into the Brahmins who were going into the Jagannath temple. And when he had a body which was full of sores, and he didn't want to contaminate them. And so when he reached Lord Chaitanya's house, he asked him which way he came, and he said he came by the beach. And Lord Chaitanya said, it's a midday. He says, all your feet are blistered. Why did you come that way? And when he explained, Lord Chaitanya was very pleased that he had the humility to, do that. Yes, so we're starting with part 2, etiquette within the temple. And this is the first thing, is being humble, like Sanatana Goswami. In the old days, kings would travel in palanquins. One regular principle is that one should never enter a temple in a palanquin or a car, or with shoes on. The idea is that one should give up one's kingly mentality, i.e., the mentality of being the lord and master, whatever be one's qualification, abilities, and social position. Amongst the devotees, particularly in the temple, one's only designation is servant of the servant. So I'll be quoting from Bhakti Swami's book at the end. offering obeisances. So there's a lot of basic things here, so you'll just have to be patient. And as we go along, we'll get, more detailed information. So this text explains about entering the temple. The first thing we do is offer respects to the Vaishnavas, then to Prabhupada by paying our obeisances, and then we pay our obeisances to the deities, doing dandavats and putting our left-hand side to the deities to Prabhupada. We offer obeisances to the Vaishnavas as well. Actually, I was taught the other way, but just lately I've been to quite a few people are offering their obeisances to Prabhupada first and then the deities. So I don't know whether anybody else has had that experience. Anyway, the main thing is to offer obeisances, and we'll follow this particular pattern of offering to Prabhupada first. And here it tells us what that is. Prabhupada and the deities. It may be noted that one should not offer obeisances on one hand. Both hands should support the body while bowing down, and both hands should be outstretched. We can go to the appendix afterwards. Would you like to read?
Which bit would you like me to read?
From meditating upon the deity.
Meditating upon the deity. After offering obeisances to the deities, one should take darshan with great devotion and beg for their mercy. B. One should not, however, immediately look upon the deities full in the face. The proper manner in which one should take darshan of the Lord is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, text, verse 2, chapter 2, verse 13. The process of meditation should begin from lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face. The meditation should be concentrated upon the lotus feet, then the calves, then the thighs, and in this way, higher and higher. The more the mind becomes fixed on different parts of the limbs, one after another, the more the intelligence becomes purified. Shall I carry on?
Yes.
C. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that such meditation will help us get detached from sense gratification. The mood of the devotee taking darshan is, "Sir, I am your eternal servant. Please let me know how I can serve you." The functions of the big deities in the temple are for giving darshan, and usually are the Ishta Devas of the Sampradaya. So it is quite natural and respectful to see them first.
Okay, so that's something most devotees already know. Maybe they didn't know the details. But, the whole point is smaranam, to remember Krishna. And when we focus our senses, especially the ears in hearing, and in this case, when we go before the deity and see the form of the deity, Prabhupada explains that gives an impressions on the mind. And those impressions, as we keep seeing the deity go deeper, and then, our remembrance of Krishna can become constant eventually and completely absorb ourselves in that. So everything depends on, it says in this section, the mood of the devotee. By having a proper mood, then Krishna will reciprocate. So it's not just a matter of externally paying obeisances. Okay. So these are others. Would you like to read Gauraprabhu?
Sure, Maharaj. There are also other considerations, as if there are 3 altars like the Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan or Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari Mandir at Juhu, Srila Prabhupada would pay obeisances first at Gaur Nithai's altar, then go to Krishna Balram's altar, and then to Sri Sri Radha Shyamsundar. Also, the devotee may like to see his Guru first, but his Guru's picture may not be present. Then take darshana in the ascending order to Krishna. While taking darshana, one may stand at the sides so that darshana is not obstructed from the devotees who are sitting. The darshana should begin as we face the deities from the left-hand corner and move progressively, deity by deity, to the right-hand corner. In Radha Gopinath Mandir, this would mean beginning the darshana with Guru Parampara, then Lord Nityananda, and ending with Sri Gopalji.
So if we're, the main deity, well, there's two main deities, Radha Nishvara, Radha Gokulananda. But if we take Radha Gokulananda, that's what we do at the manor. With our left-hand side, we take darshan of Radha Gokulananda, and then Sri Sri Gaunitai, and then Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Okay. Sitting. Barbara Mashi, do you want to read?
You are on
Hare
mute.
Krishna. Did you say, did you take my name, Prabhuji?
No. Barbara Mataji.
Oh, sorry.
What's your name?
My name is Padma.
Padma Mataji.
Okay, you can read next, Padma.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Barbara Mataji, you are on mute if you are reading.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm reading off the phone, I'm afraid, and it's quite difficult. I need a book.
Okay. Padma
so
Mataji can read, probably.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem. I can read, Prabhuji. Thank you. Sitting. There are several regulations regarding one's sitting posture in the temple. While sitting, one should not expose one's feet to the deities or point them at the spiritual master, Tulasi Devi, etc. The feet should always be covered. B. One should, as far as possible, avoid sitting with one's back to the deities or the Vyasasana. However, the layout of the Prabhuji, could you scroll the page up, please?
Dayananda from Maharaj.
All right.
However, the layout of the temple may at times restrict us in following this principle. C. One should not spread one's legs before the deities. D. One should not sit before the deities holding one's ankles, elbows, or knees. Please see the illustrations. One should not fall asleep while sitting before the deities. Talking. In front of the deities, one should not talk loudly, quarrel, chastise anyone, speak harshly to others, or speak angrily, praise anyone else, speak ill names, criticize the demigods, indulge in prajalpa or mundane talks, speak a lie, talk nearby devotees who are chanting the holy name of the Lord. B. One may speak in front of the deities to guests and devotees if it helps in preaching or enhancing their Krishna consciousness, but all other talks should be conducted outside the temple.
Yes, so this is an important point. When we get guests, these Vaishnava etiquette is particularly for practicing devotees. And so, you know, we want to make more devotees, but we can't criticize them when they first come to the temple because they're not following these principles. So we have to be very, very aware of that. And gradually, you know, as they become more conversant with the process, they'll naturally take up these things. So we shouldn't push them. Okay, so who's next to read? Lalita Priti Mataji, can you see the screen?
Sure, Maharaj. F. Dresses and appearance. A devotee clothing must be simple, clean, and distinctive, so as to remind people of Krishna. When coming to temple, particularly for the morning program, festivals, and on Sundays, devotees should dress as follows. Men, dhoti kurta, women, sari, head covered in the presence of men. We cannot expect this in the West, although I couldn't see that. Shall I go to number?
Sorry, I put that's on the wrong place. It's meant for another part of it. So don't worry, that's why I've crossed it out.
Okay. Other clothing must be avoided except in compelling circumstances or where definitely required for preaching. For both,
I'll uncover that again, and we can read it. Here we are. Just put it there a minute.
We cannot expect this in the West, although initiated devotees should follow to accommodate all kinds of people. We should accept them as they are. Example, Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles.
Remember, this was made for India. So once again, when people come to the temple, and even if they're practicing devotees, you know, then we can't actually stipulate that we're in a different country that they wear specifically dhotis and kurta or a sari. We just try to emphasize that come clean and, you know, after some time. Like that. Okay.
For both men and women, clothing should be simple, not fashionable and opulent. Yet the clothes must be neat and presentable. Unnecessary items like, I can't see that, Maharaj. Perfumes and various forms of cosmetics and makeup should be avoided. Simplicity in dress is very important for a Vaishnava, whether the temple or outside. Particularly for morning programs and for all temple programs, in general, fresh clothes must be worn. The previous day's clothes must not be worn. Lord Chaitanya said that a Vaishnava is one who, when seen, reminds one of Krishna. Hence, all devotees must be particular in regard to the following, which mark one out as a Vaishnava.
Okay. So this is now speaking about tilak, and we don't expect everybody will wear tilak. That's another thing. You know, devotional service means cultivating Krishna consciousness, and these things help us. But you know, if a devotee is practicing nicely, and for some reason he doesn't want to do, you know, that's his. But we don't, you know, penalize him for doing that. Don't stop him from coming to the temple or engaging in devotional service. The essence is to, you know, give everybody a chance to become purified. Okay, so maybe Maya Purishpuri, would you like to read?
Yeah, thank you. Tilak. One should always decorate the body with tilak at 12 places after taking a bath. A person who is not chanting the holy name and not following the regulative principles must not wear tilak, particularly outside the temple. Carry on. Yep. 2, hair. Men, brahmacharis and sannyas must shave their heads once a week and keep sika. Grihastas may do the same, however, according to their service, they may keep hair short and neat and, if possible, a small sika.
Anyway, this is details, 1.5 inches. I know in the early days, they had, just cover all the back of the heads, but that's understood to be a different sampradaya. So those who are, full time and in temple, then this is the best way to go, just a small sika. Yeah, can be any length providing it's neat. It should be tied and not splayed out. Otherwise, it's actually not. It tends to make the individual weak. I'm not sure about that one, but this is what it says. Okay, so we'll start from while. You can read a bit further, Mataji, if you want. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a little bit small. Hang on. While tying your sika after bathing, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, or if initiated Gayatri mantras, silently chant the Brahma Gayatri, first line of Gayatri. The sika should not be braided. Traditionally, only women braid their hair, nor should it be kept long and disheveled. If the sika is too short to be tied, it is all right to leave it open, but it should not be disheveled. Thank you.
Okay. So, Natasha Mataji, would you like to read the next section from women?
Yes, thank you. Hang on. I'm reading from my phone, so bear with me. Might need to. Women are preferred. Women, it is preferred for women to keep long hair tied behind. Kanthya Mala, just their neck beads.
And just one thing is that, a woman's attraction, one of the main attractions is her hair. And so it's important that they actually tie the hair and cover the head, and then, the attraction for a man is less. That's the whole point. Even in different religions, the men sometimes put like in the Jewish religion and the Muslim religion, they'll put a little hat on, to actually to reduce vanity, like that. Okay.
Thank you. All the devotees who are initiated must wear Kanthya Mala in at least 2 or 3 rounds. The mala should be wrapped around the base of the throat and should be clearly visible. A manual of Vaishnava etiquette.
No, just read from devotees.
Oh, okay. Devotees who are not initiated but have been following all the regulatory principles of some time and who desire to take daska may also wear Kanthya Mala. Daska beads worn around the neck indicate a devotee's surrender to the Lord, and therefore a person wearing tulsa beads around the neck or dear to the Lord. However, a person is an offender if he wears tulsa neck beads simply to imitate the Vaishnava, but not seriously trying to surrender to the Lord. It is advisable not to wear beads if one is not following 4 regular principles.
Yes, so it's, anybody can wear tulsi, but the reason is that if somebody's not serious and they'll actually seem to be representing this process, because people start to understand when people wear tulsi beads that they're following a religious process, Hare Krishna process, and therefore if they're not strict, then they'll actually discredit the movement like that. So that's the reasoning. Okay. So who's next? Atavi Krishnadas. Can you read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Some devotees also wear other kinds of auspicious malas, either made of tulsi beads, lotus seeds, rope from Jagannath's Ratha, or silk pavitras while performing puja, japa, or other sacred functions. These should be removed when bathing or leaving the temple or house while going to toilet. The kantimala is worn permanently, for the beads protect one from bad dreams, accidents, attack by weapons, and the servants of Yamaraj. Upon seeing the tulsi mala, the Yamadutas flee like leaves scattered by the wind. Devotees, yeah, is that okay? Should I continue?
Yes.
Devotees who are not following the basic principles, particularly the chanting of the holy name, and four regulative principles, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, should not wear kantimala. Strictly speaking, once the kantimala is worn, even onion and garlic should not pass down the throat. One should therefore advise new devotees accordingly.
Yeah, Tulsi Maharani is very, very dear to Krishna. We also wear, the Tulsi leaf on our nose as part of the tilak sign. So, it's through Tulsi that we get Krishna's mercy. So we, at least for ourselves as Vaishnavas, we should be very respectful and try to follow this guideline by educating newcomers. Okay, mustache and beard. Maybe Suman, do you want to read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Yeah, sure. Devotees who were initiated or preparing to be initiated should not have a mustache or a beard. It may be noted, however, that in some Vaishnava matas, men shave their face and head.
Once a fortnight.
Once a fortnight or a full moon day, and in Saturmasya period, they do not shave at all. But our standard is to shave on regular basis, with the odd exceptions of ears or for some other justifiable reason.
Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a magistrate. And when you read the Seventh Course Swami, which is a book about his life, he says that he used to shave every month. So the main Prabhupada, he didn't like his disciples to grow. Once he's shaved up, he didn't like them to let their hair grow too long. He said, this is a sign that you're becoming hippies again. So, we should keep a reasonable shaved head, not too much hair. Once a week is good. Okay, cleanliness and hygiene. Maybe you can read the first two paragraphs of that also.
Cleanliness and hygiene. As mentioned earlier, fresh clothes must be worn in the temple. B. After one takes prasadam, the area where the plate was kept must be cleared. One should not step over the area where prasadam was taken, because it is considered contaminated. The place where we take prasadam becomes contaminated, and if one step on the spot, then feet must be washed. The place where the prasadam has been taken must be cleaned right after the prasadam has been taken. Because the temple must be very clean, we should be careful that we do not unnecessarily contaminate the temple. See. One should not.
Jai Krishna Prabhu, would you like to read?
One should not enter the temple hall without having washed one's hands and feet after eating. One should enter the temple with clean hands and feet. One should take bath after passing stool and only then enter the temple hall. One should not enter the temple after visiting a crematorium or after touching a dead body. One must first take proper bath and then enter. One should not pass air or belch within the temple. One should avoid putting one's finger in one's mouth, ears, or nose when one is compelled to do this, even outside the temple. One's hands must be washed immediately thereafter. During their menstrual periods, Matajis may visit the temple, but they may not perform any item of deity worship, viz. Arti, dressing, cooking, garlands, or any other work that requires.
Yeah, just going back here. You know, one should not enter the temple or without having washed one's hands and feet. I remember one out at the manor once, and this traveling devotee came, and he was a young devotee, and he went in the little kitchen where everybody washed the plates, and started washing his feet, and water everywhere, all over the temple. So, it's in India, they have a special place for washing feet, and and it's usually outside, and it's very hot, so the ground dries very quickly. But we shouldn't actually think that we have to do that inside a temple in this country, unless there's a proper facility for it. So we have to improvise sometimes according to the situation that we're in, and not take things literally when it's not applicable. Carry on. You can just read a bit more. We started there.
That's it. I got to requires. You need to roll the page down, Maharaj. The presence in a data room or kitchen, or any work that is directly connected to the deities, example, stitching their clothes, etc. At this time, such Matajis avoid being in physical contact with anyone who is or will be involved in the service of the deities. They may attend Tulsi Puja, but may not offer water to Tulsi Devi. Under all circumstances, chanting one's japa beads should continue. Chanting one's japa beads should continue. Lost me again, you've moved that. Oh yeah, there can be no material impediment to the chanting of the holy name. Carry on?
Carry on for another paragraph. Oh, you might as well finish this section.
Yeah, as far as one's home is concerned, Matajis should try to maintain the above standard where possible. In some cases, it may not be practical and possible to do that, as there may be no one else available to do the cooking, etc. In such cases, Matajis may do the needful to fulfill their domestic obligation, and at the same time also see that their household deities are taken care of. Other members of the family, as far as possible, should help in this regard.
Okay. So this is another form of cleanliness. The Mataji is considered contaminated in that period, so certain services are not advisable and not recommended at that time. General behavior. So maybe we can have a read from Bhakti Charu Maharaj's book. This is from page 11 and 13. He's a Bengali devotee, or he was, if he was from Bengal. Well, he's from Vaikuntha, really, but it's nice to hear. He was very good at things like this. He used to explain in detail, and he used to be very clear and simple. So we'll just see what, and he quotes quite a lot from Srila Prabhupada. Basic principles of Vaishnava behavior. Vaishnava etiquette are not superficial or unessential. Having heard all these details, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, greatly pleased, spoke as follows. Chaitanya Anchalila 4:128-30. My dear Sanam, this is the same thing as we said at the beginning, so I won't go over that again. Swami. Etiquette, dictionary definition, conventional requirements as to social behavior. That's one. Two, the code of ethics of a profession. Accepting the identity of a Vaishnava necessitates a certain standard of behavior or etiquette. Vaishnava etiquette facilitates Krishna consciousness. It provides the criteria, the protocol by which a devotee can act properly in every situation. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.24 purport, quoting from the verse 3 of the Upanishad, that previous one was from 6.4, and this one is quoting from the verse 3 of the Upanishads. Srila Prabhupada roughly paraphrases one of the items favorable for devotional development. By engaging completely in activities of goodness, practicing Vaishnava etiquette means always acting in the mode of goodness, which is the stepping stone to the transcendental plane. The mode of goodness is conducive to self-realization, whereas ignorance and passion are not. Therefore, how one applies the principles of Vaishnava etiquette reflects whether a devotee is Krishna conscious or not, i.e., that is to say, is he humble, conscientious, well-mannered, disciplined, cultured, how much he displays the good qualities. So, it should change our habits automatically by practicing, but we have to practice by rules and regulations to start with. And if it doesn't change our character, then it means that the process is not actually taking full effect. Just like in any particular discipline or any particular field of activity, they have certain rules and regulations by which, they expect people to act, because it's conducive for practicing that particular process. So in the same way, Vaishnavas act in a certain way, and it helps us to develop Krishna consciousness. They're two like parallel lines. Quote from Srila Prabhupada on general behavior. A Vaishnava is better than a Brahman. Letter to Sri Brahma Swami. Brahminical life means cleanliness. Brahminical life means to be very, very clean inside and out. Inside by chanting and hearing, and outside by bathing 3 times daily. If not possible, at least 2 times, but never less than once. Bathing after passing stool, the qualification of the Brahmins are described in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 42. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmins work. So see that these instructions are being followed nicely. Not associating with materialistic persons. In regard to brainwashing, Rameshwar, this is Rameshwar speaking, they claim that our lifestyle tends to take the devotee and isolate him from the world. Yes, said Prabhupada, we hate to mix with you. No gentleman tries to mix with loafers. Crows will not like to live with ducks and white swans, and white swans will not like to live with the crows. That is a natural division. Birds of the same feather flock together. So it's not just that, it's even in, there's different kinds of materialists, and they just won't mix together because they have different values. So it's not like, it's a natural thing. So he goes on, Prabhupada talks about slamming doors, and he's saying that, this is Krishna's property, we should be very careful with it. And the feet shouldn't be pointed at anybody, as we said before. Stealing, Srila Prabhupada letter to Pradyumna. Don't steal. For so far as stealing is concerned, one should not steal except in the rarest circumstances. Moral principles is recommended in all scriptures as a prerequisite for spiritual culture. That reminds me of, I left my harmonium in the room, and when I came back, it weren't there. And it hadn't come back. So I'm just waiting for the person who's borrowed it to return it. Okay. Okay, we get an idea of how Bhakti Sri Maharaj approaches it. If one has any depth of realization, the jewels of Vaishnava behavior will naturally pace all of his dealings and activities. Actually, Bhakti Sri Swami, he was the emblem of Vaishnava etiquette in modern times. He was just like a gentleman. He was so, so fixed in these principles. Okay. We can read from here now. So who's not read? Gaurav Tandem Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. So H, general behavior, should I read that?
Yeah.
Okay. H, general behavior. A. One should always remember that one is a devotee and is representing Guru and Krishna, whether in the temple or at home, at work, in the office, or out on the streets. One should conduct in a way that draws appreciation to Guru and Krishna, and should avoid all conduct that will bring Guru and Krishna disrepute.
Yeah, people know we're devotees, even though we're in plain clothes. You can't keep secrets in this world. So we have to be on our guard. We have to be on our mettle. Carry on.
Devotees should not wear expensive and flashy-looking jewelry, wristwatches, etc. Jewelry for women must be worn with careful moderation, if at all, and men should preferably avoid all jewelry, like gold chains, bracelets, etc. C. As far as possible, devotees should avoid using any items made of leather, knowing them to be the result of animal slaughter. Unless avoidable in one's service, one should refrain from wearing leather shoes, and also items like bags, wallets, watch straps, etc. D. Even and particularly when one is criticized or offended, one should conduct oneself with dignity.
Okay, so we can stop there. This is an important one, but there's always, things don't, even if we practice devotional service, it's not that everything will be very nice, but we'll still get criticism, sometimes blame for things we didn't do, and sometimes, but we should be aware that we're actually, a representative of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it's incumbent on us to actually treat people as if we're a representative. Should conduct, yeah, so it's a matter of self-control. This is one of the qualities of a Brahmin, that is peaceful, even though there's, a reason to be angry. Right. Okay, carry on. Well, we'll change now.
Okay.
Kalpesh, wow. All right.
Hare Krishna, Danut Pranam Prabhuji. Even and particularly when one is criticized or offended, one should conduct oneself with dignity. While one may certainly take precautions against being cheated or take action, where necessary, one should be careful to avoid picking up quarrels, indulging in useless argumentations, and so on. A devotee must be particularly careful in dealing with the opposite sex. Srila Rupa Goswami says that a devotee must be neglectful in ordinary dealings. In other words, one should not give up basic courtesies and formalities, considering them to be mundane and oneself to be transcendental.
Carry on.
To touch someone with one's feet is offensive. If one has to walk past seated devotees in temple, for example, one should extend one's hand to indicate that one wishes to go by, and they will move their knees to let one pass, to see an illustration. If by accident one touches a devotee with one's feet, one should touch the devotee's body gently with one's right hand and then touch one's right hand to one's head. This nullifies the offense.
Okay, yeah. So that's standard behavior.
Attending class.
Would you like to read? Thank you, Talpishkum.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dana Pranam.
Attending class. While attending the too small Maharaj.
Discourses.
While attending discourses, one should be very attentive and silent. A talkative or sleepy devotee has a it's better now, yeah. A talkative or a sleepy devotee has a discouraging and disrupting influence on the speaker and on the assembled devotees. It does not also project a good image of our mission. If one feels excessively sleepy, one should move to the side of the hall and stand up. Rules regarding sitting in the temple mentioned earlier should be followed. One should avoid moving in and out of the temple or room where the discourse is being taking place. This causes great disturbances. Parents must control their children. If the children become noisy, they must be kept outside the temple. Relevant and pertinent questions may be asked in a humble spirit.
Okay.
Go attending archery.
Stop there. Thank you, Ashwan. Who's next? The name's gone. Anyway, you can, whoever's next, you can read. You've already took the, when you're muted, you took your name off. Okay, Manjul Radha Devidasi. Would you like to read?
Yes, please, I can. Aarti is also called Niranjana or Drishti, which means waving auspicious items before a person in order to dispel inauspicious influences or elements as a means of protection. The various items offered all are representative of the material elements in pure form and the corresponding sense objects, that is, sound, form, touch, etc., are auspicious and purifying. Srila Prabhupada further emphasizes in the Nectar of Devotion the benefit of seeing the Arati performed. In the Skand Purana, there is the following description of the result of seeing Arati or worship of the deity. If someone sees the face of the Lord while Arati is going on, he can be relieved of all sinful reactions coming from many, many thousands and millions of years past. He is even excused from the killing of a Brahmana or similar prohibited activities. This is stated in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 9.
Okay, thank you much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Suvilha. No. come back to this a little bit. Rather be no problem.
Yeah, thus all Arati ceremonies offered to the Lord are auspicious, Mangala. But the first Arati of the day in the early morning is considered particularly auspicious for all who participate. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, who appeared in the middle of the 17th century, is a great spiritual master in the Krishna conscious chain of gurus and disciples. He says, one who with great care and attention loudly recites this beautiful prayer to the spiritual master during the Brahma Muhurta obtains direct service to Krishna, the Lord of Vrindavan, at the time of death.
Okay. So, so it's a very, very powerful process, and sometimes we think it's exaggerated, but the scriptures don't lie. So we should, but we shouldn't be complacent either, thinking that, you know, we have to carry on doing these things. And then they, you know, they have to become pure in their nature instead of just like a habit. That's the whole point, is to, you know, it changes our consciousness and we become absorbed in these activities and we become attached to them and become attached to Krishna. Okay, Prema Datri Mataji. No? Okay. Suvida Mataji. Suvida Prabhu.
I can read Maharaj.
Yeah,
Go on.
Okay, I'll read. Nirmala refers to the garlands, flowers, chandana, bath water, ghee, lamp, and tulsi leaves that the pujari has offered to the Lord during the puja. After the puja is completed, the devotees should accept these items on the heads, saying Jai Mahaprasadam. Flower garlands. One should not disrespect the Nirmala, am I pronouncing it right? Nirmala, by stepping on it or leaving it in an unclean place. After being properly respected, Nirmala, such as garlands and flowers, can be collected and disposed of in a river, a lake, or the ocean. Devotees accept prasada, flower, garlands by touching them to the head, wearing them and smelling them. They accept prasada, tulsi garlands simply by touching them to the head and smelling them but not wearing them.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Sure.
So we'll just go back to the beginning. Prema Datri Mataji, are you there? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So
maybe
go
drinking
ahead.
the bath water of Vishnu is powerful enough. Drinking the bath water of Vishnu is powerful enough to destroy the effects of 1 million sins, such as the killing of other living entities. However, the person who lets even one drop of sacred bath water fall on the ground must suffer 8 million such simple effects.
Wait a minute. It's very risky business taking Shaisamrita. So be careful. Anyway, the thing is, you know, we have to understand Krishna's nature. He's not waiting for us to make a mistake. He's like, he accepts the good intention of the devotee. But, you know, these things help us to become serious about, you know, how valuable these things are. They're priceless, and we should develop that mode. This is why it's saying that. I mean, I hope I don't get pulled up about that. It's coming from Shastra. But anyway, I'm just okay. Carry on, Mataji.
The pujari or an assistant should distribute Charnamrit to the devotees who may chant the following verse while drinking and placing it on their heads. Shri Radha Krishna Padodakam Prema Bhakti Dam Muda Bhakti Bhavena Vepitva Sirsha Dharyami Aham. The water from the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna bestows pure loving devotion to them. Having drunk that water with great joy and devotion, I hold that water upon my head. To avoid spillage, hold your left hand under your right hand when receiving Mahaprasad, Nirmala flowers, tulsi leaves, and manjaris or charnamrit. Ghee lamp. In traditional temples, the lamp is brought first to Garuda, who stands at the back of the temple. In ISKCON temples, the lamp is brought first to Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, as he is the Vaishnava Sreshta, the leader of the assembled Vaishnavas in order of seniority. Women who are having their monthly cycle should not touch the lamp. Person offering the prasada lamp should be sensitive to the seniority of the assembled devotees. The assembled devotees, however, should not be overly sensitive if missed when the lamp is offered.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. Oh, just one, you might as well finish it.
Yeah. The lamp is not meant to show respect or honor to us, but rather we are meant to offer respect to the lamp as the Lord's prasad by touching the fire to our foreheads briefly with both hands and saying Jai Mahaprasadam.
Okay. So it's a minute before 8. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? I mean, even during the reading, if somebody doesn't understand something or wants to ask about it, then you can put your hand up. And then we can just try and answer that. So next week, Meena Chetani.
Yes, Maharaj, Dhanma Pranam. Maharaj, we just read that women who have periods must not touch, so which means they cannot even put their hand over the arti, the ghee lamp.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yamuna Vilas has raised his hand.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, I have a question regarding Kantimala. It is mentioned here that onion garlic one should not take. So, but I have seen some devotees saying that it doesn't matter even if they are taking onion garlic. Kantimala is very powerful. It must be rare. It can save the Yamdutas from coming near to you. So, what is the minimum standard, Maharaj, for Kantimala?
I find it very hard to actually hear what you're saying. Can you just repeat that very slowly?
Yeah, Maharaj, my basic question is, what is the minimum standard for wearing Kantimala? Because I hear different opinion from different devotees that Kantimala is like Tulsi. It has the potency to eradicate all the sin and it keeps Yamdutas away. But here, like Vaishnava Etiquette manual mentions that, for regulatory principles, then no onion garlic. So what is the minimum standard, Maharaj, for wearing Kantimala?
Well, as this particular document is saying, Vaishnava Etiquette, it's saying that unless we're actually serious about devotional service, it's best not to wear it. Because we commit offences against Krishna's pure devotee. If we don't actually, if we're not being clean, we're not actually acting properly. And also, as I said earlier in this talk, that, people very quickly understand that we're devotees and they understand the meaning of Kantimala. They know it's actually religious, has a religious connotation. And therefore, what will happen is that if somebody's acting wrongly, they'll think, what kind of people are these Hare Krishnas? So there's two things, for your own welfare, if you're not serious, and don't cause disrespect, don't put disrespect on the movement. So Vida Mataji.
Yeah, thank you much.
Did you have a question?
Maharaj, I have one question. This is rather not this.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyone else has?
Just
Yeah.
speak a little slower and I'll try and pick it up.
Okay. So there are a couple of points mentioned above in terms of when there is an argument between devotees or when there is some quarrel, something like that, where they're not supposed to shout or loud voice, something is there.
Yeah.
But sometimes, that instinct, that point of time,
yeah,
without their proper consciousness, sometimes devotees argue or, shout at each other, some quarrel goes on. But anyway, that's particular point of time, their mood may be different. But afterwards, what exactly is the etiquette when they realize, oh, this is not correct? What exactly is the etiquette that devotees they need to follow? Both sides, whoever it is, no matter who is right, who is wrong.
I think the etiquette is to, feel some remorse and say we're sorry like anybody else does. But, there's a process of going to that devotee and sincerely offering your apologies. And, we can do that by just paying our obeisances. And what will happen then is that the other devotee, 90% of the time, will just actually melt. He'll just see that this, but the whole thing's actually over and done with. So it's important that we do that, and even if it's not accepted, we've done our part. And the Shastra recommend if we've made some offence, that's all we can do. But then we should, do extra chanting. Help us overcome that aparad or that offence.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
There is one question in the chat box from Suman Prabhu.
Let me just take off the screen just a minute.
Yeah.
And then I will have to see everything again. Okay, so okay, chat, let's have a look. Hare Krishna Maharaj, as it is mentioned, don't keep long seeker. Does it mean we are, just a minute, or we were, just something up, just a minute. Does it mean does it mean are we allowed to cut our seeker if it's long? Yeah. I mean, usually what happens is that it depends on your strength. Yeah, some people, they can grow it and grow it and grow it. So I don't know. Mine doesn't. My hair's not like that. There's not much seeker left anyway. But yeah, well, I've seen devotees who've got really thick hair. They just let it grow and then they bring it back on itself and they put, and then if it grows more, then they start wrapping it around the down part of the seeker. They start wrapping it lateral around and tying it in a little knot at the end. But anyway. Okay.
Maharaj, can I ask you one question? When we take Charanamrut, if it accidentally spills, what should we do? Of course, cleaning and disposing, but sometimes, especially after Abhishek and there's a big queue in the Prasadam, often the spillages can happen.
Actually, there was one devotee called Tribhuvanath. He was a Prabhupada disciple. And there was one young bhakta, and he was taking just ordinary prasad, and he spilled it on the floor. And Tribhuvanath says, "No, you should lick that up." He said, "Lick it up," and the devotee did. So maybe we should do that. But yeah, we can just what can we do? We have to be remorseful. We have to be very, very careful. That's all. It says put one hand under the other. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody spill any anyway when they're taking charitamrita.
I spilled. While picking up from the cup from the table, I spilled once.
Did you? Okay, so maybe you can actually try and retrieve as much as possible if the floor's not really dirty.
I wiped with the blue roll and kept it away in the plants.
And what can we do? You know, if we do something wrong, we just have to carry on. You know, Krishna's just you know, a technical mistake is not going to stop us from practicing devotional service.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened to this? It's gone. Is it just on me now? I can just see myself. Is that?
Yes, Maharaj, because I'm recording it. It's on you, but
Okay. So is there any other questions?
as far as I can see, there are no questions, no further questions.
So what we'll do next week, we'll start from Mahaprashadam. So I'll put a bookmark there. Okay, thank you everybody, and hopefully we'll be able to see you next week.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Namaste Ma'am.
Maharaj.